She was no ordinary woman. She had the power to see the future, to know what was coming before it happened. That morning, she saw her so-called best friend loading up a tray of food in the cafeteria. And just as she foresaw, the very next moment her friend would pretend to look back while walking, only to stumble in a ridiculous fall. Not only would she land flat on the ground, but the entire tray of food would go flying, splattering straight onto her own face, and it wouldn't end there. While helping to clean up, the greasy bucket of soup nearby would spill over and soak her from head to toe. Every bit of it already played out in her mind, but this time she was ready. Following behind her friend, she waited for the exact second. The moment her friend turned her head, she stepped aside, avoiding the crash, and with one subtle push of her foot, she let the girl lose balance completely, tumbling right into someone else. Looking at the two people in such a mess, she feels no sympathy at all, because in her past life it was this so-called best friend, together with that scumbag she just bumped into, who betrayed her, leading to her tragic death. Though she doesn't know why, after dying she came back 10 years into the past. To prevent the same tragedy from happening again, this time she decides to deliberately push the two of them together, shifting the miserable fate that once befell her onto them. Nearby, someone mutters in dialect about how noisy things are, joking about kicking them around, but none of that matters. Seeing her friend acting all cute, the boyfriend, who moments ago seemed upset, instantly changes his expression. Not only does he say it's fine, but he generously adds, "It's just a 1.2 million won shirt. I've got plenty more in my closet." Sure enough, a dog can't stop eating filth. Seeing her friend's apologetic face, Min-hwan quickly changes the subject, carrying aloud, "How can you eat so little at work? Without food, you'll have no energy." Every word he says carries a hidden jab toward Ji-won. And with her boyfriend constantly siding with her best friend, Ji-won can't take it anymore and leaves, giving them time alone together. Her friend doesn't waste the chance. While waiting for the elevator with Min-hwan, she pretends to be pitiful. "Ji-won must be mad at me for ruining the shirt you bought him." Her little helpless act quickly stirs Min-hwan's urge to comfort her. Just then, the elevator doors open and the two are shoved inside by the crowd behind. Min-hwan can't resist such temptation. But what he doesn't realize is that Soo-min's flirting isn't really about him. It's a calculated move. That afternoon, eager to end her intern life early, Soo-min sets her sights on the section chief. Using the excuse of needing fresh air, she boldly walks out of the meeting room with him. Seeing this, Ji-won immediately hands an outdated proposal to the manager. Because from her past life, she remembers clearly it was under the section chief's cover that Soo-min stole her proposal and got promoted. The section chief, with his few strands of hair, even uses his saliva-wet chopsticks to give Soo-min some pork belly. Though disgusting, Soo-min endures it, promising, "If you give me Ji-won's proposal, we can work on it together. Alone, Ji-won will never succeed. Only with a senior like you leading the way can it shine. Then I'll get credit too and become permanent staff." The section chief, thrilled, even imagines what their future kids might be named. And so, he happily agrees. The next day at the office, Ji-won finds a strange bag. Inside are designer earrings and a note from Soo-min, asking her to wear matching earrings with her to the upcoming class reunion this weekend. Ji-won remembers all too well. In her past life, she was tricked into going. There she not only faced old bullies but was mocked for wearing fake jewelry. The humiliation forced her to hide in the bathroom the whole night. Now reborn, she swears she will never repeat that mistake. But just as she steps out of the elevator, she receives messages from both her friend and Min-hwan. Both want to visit her place tonight. At first, Ji-won wants to refuse, but then she thinks, they'll end up together sooner or later. Might as well let it happen now. So she goes to buy alcohol. Unexpectedly, Min-hwan arrives early. He complains about her lack of emojis and texts, nitpicking her replies. When Ji-won returns home with the alcohol, she accidentally runs into Min-hwan alone in her apartment. He misreads the situation, thinking she came to him willingly. As he approaches, Ji-won panics, but just then the doorbell rings. It's a delivery guy bringing fried chicken. Not knowing who ordered it, Ji-won uses the chance to kick Min-hwan out with it. The delivery man, it turns out, was sent by Ji-seok, but how he knew remains unclear. The class reunion was only days away, and Ji-won knew it was coming for her whether she wanted it or not. She stood in front of her wardrobe, pulling outfit after outfit, but everything looked wrong. Dark-colored clothes, plain and dull. Nothing felt right. Even makeup couldn't save it. Lipstick, eyeliner, all seemed just as lifeless. And then came another reminder. A text from Sumin. "Don't forget the reunion," she wrote sweetly before slipping in something more sinister. "I'm feeling really down today. You'll have to make it up to me." To anyone else, it would sound like a joke, but Ji-won knew better. In her past life, that joke had led to real humiliation. She could already see how Soo-min was plotting to turn the reunion into another stage for her downfall. Not long after, Ji-seok reached out, inviting Ji-won to go shopping. He had sensed the storm that was coming, and with the stocks she had recently bought soaring, Ji-won now had 1.4 million won in her account, enough to stand a little taller. As they walked past a jewelry store, Ji-won's eyes froze on a display. Inside the case sat the exact same earrings Soo-min had given her. But when she looked closer, the truth became painfully clear. The ones Soo-min gave her were cheap imitations. The difference between the real and the fake was glaring. No wonder Ji-seok had warned her not to wear them. If she showed up to the reunion with those counterfeits, it would have been the perfect setup for mockery, just like before. The day of the reunion arrived. Soo-min, of course, got there first. She was all smiles, bathed in attention, as classmates crowded around her. "Wow, you've become even more beautiful," the boys said, their compliments flowing easily. The girls smiled too, but Ji-won noticed the shift in their expressions when Soo-min deliberately brought her name into the conversation. "Ji-won will be here too," Soo-min mentioned casually, her eyes flicking up as if by accident. Instantly, a girl across the table stiffened, her face darkened as she asked, "Why are you still hanging around with him?" It was the perfect setup, Soo-min pretending to defend Ji-won on the surface, while behind the mask she was sharpening the knife. "Ji-won hasn't been doing well lately," Soo-min said softly, lowering her eyes. "Her mood hasn't been good. Please, be nice to her." But the words weren't kindness. They were bait. A carefully staged slip of the tongue, a way to paint Ji-won as pitiful before she even walked through the door. The trap was set. And then, Ji-won's phone call cut through the chatter. "I'm here," she said. The doors opened, and when she stepped inside, the entire room fell silent. Every head turned. Every set of eyes, even Soo-min's, widened in shock. For a moment, nobody spoke. The room, buzzing only seconds ago, went quiet as Ji-won walked in. Even Soo-min, always quick with her fake smiles, froze in disbelief. This wasn't the timid, downtrodden classmate they remembered. This Ji-won radiated confidence, every step announcing that she was no longer the same person they used to mock. The boys who had just been praising Soo-min now shifted their gazes. Their eyes lingered on Ji-won, unable to hide their surprise. Some even stammered compliments, awkwardly trying to adjust their tone. The girls, meanwhile, exchanged uneasy looks, suddenly uncomfortable under the weight of Ji-won's presence. And yet Soo-min refused to back down. Her smile returned, though this time it trembled at the corners. With calculated ease, she slid herself back into the spotlight. "Oh, Ji-won's here," she said brightly, clapping her hands as if she were the gracious host. "We were just talking about you." Her words dripped with false sweetness, but her eyes betrayed her. This was the same setup from Ji-won's past life, only now Ji-won could see every move coming. One of the girls leaned forward, voice sharp. "Why are you still with him?" she asked again, her tone thick with disdain. The name Min-hwan hung heavy in the air. In her past life, Ji-won would have shrunk under the weight of such questions, heart-pounding, desperate to hide. She would have clutched her fake earrings, hoping no one noticed. She would have endured the humiliation until the night ended. But not this time. This time, Ji-won lifted her chin, her eyes steady. The faintest of smiles played on her lips, calm, unshaken. Across the table, Soo-min tightened her grip on her glass. She had planned for Ji-won to walk into this room looking small, pathetic, an easy target for laughter. But the Ji-won standing before her now wasn't someone she could dismiss. Still, she pushed harder. The trap had been set, but the prey wasn't who Soo-min thought it would be. Tonight, it was Ji-won's turn to play. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content.